to talk about is 6 steps to living a healthier life. So this is me and my husband. My name is Shelly, if I haven't met you before. And I love this guy right here. We have 2 beautiful children, Justice and London. London is about to be 5 and Justice just turned 7. And you can see over here, we actually have some chickens, we have a barn. I love to run, and of course we love our kids. Jason and I met in our mid-20s and knew very quickly that we wanted to be together for all the days. And so we got married, and then much later on started having kids. And so we are really grateful to live in the DC metro area, and we just love the life that we get to live together. And you know, we were adding lots of things to our life, adding children, adding jobs to our resume, doing all those kinds of things. And what actually happened is we ended up adding a bunch of pounds to our life also, which wasn't something that we intended. So this is actually me about 2.5 years ago, and this is me today. So I have lost about 50 pounds. My husband has lost that same 50. So 100 pounds together. I'm now a certified health coach. And I've been helping clients for a little over 1.5 years, and about 520 of them to be specifically. And it's really been something that I have found great joy in. I really didn't know how much I would be passionate about health. I thought, you know, I really like the fact that I lost this weight, obviously, and I like how I feel, but I wasn't necessarily sure that I would enjoy helping other people. And I've really found my niche. I've really found a place where I like to encourage people, help them see what they might want for themselves, and then be able to kind of plan a path for that. What does that look like? How can we make that a reality? And so I'm really excited today to share with you some things that I've learned over those last 1.5 years about how to lower your stress and how to live a healthier lifestyle. So first thing we always need to do is kind of know the problem, right? And so the big problem is that life is intrinsically unstable. We must live intentionally to be able to handle whatever comes our way. I really was impacted by this quote at a conference about 1 year ago. Actually, our founder, Dr. A, he said, life is intrinsically unstable. And I really took that to heart. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Like, it's easy for me to plan for a problem that I know is coming. It's less easy for me to plan for a problem that I don't know is coming. And that happens to us a lot in our life, right? Things happen that we don't know are going to happen. That's kind of happening to us right now for those of us that are watching live. There are things that we can't control and things that are happening that, you know, we weren't necessarily ready for. And so to be able to, you know that our bodies and who we are is prepared for that, no matter what happens, was really important to me. And so now in this season of crisis as a country, I can really see how preparing myself ahead of time has been so important. And so obesity, this is a really hard word for me to say, so I'm going to try to say it as few times as possible. But obesity is our real pandemic in a lot of ways. I know that that's a sensitive word right now because of what we're actually going through as a country, but the desire to lose weight is more pressing than ever. In the United States, almost 2/3 of our population is either overweight or obese, and the levels of obesity are spreading, and they are spreading at a really frightening rate. A lot of the things that are making us susceptible to other diseases and to other things that are really affecting our health is our weight, and is how we manage our bodies and how we manage what we put in our bodies. It's an unacceptably high rate, guys, of chronic disease that's really caused by being overweight or obese. I have a feeling that you probably already know this, though. What you really want to know is how we can do something about it, right? You already know that that extra 10 pounds is actually adding 4 times as much pressure to your joints. You already know that if you didn't have that extra 15 or 20 pounds, that you'd be more active or that you would feel better. Those are things that you probably already know. Your energy, your stamina, your health. We need more of these, right? I've never met somebody that I've done a health assessment with that didn't say, No, I have plenty of that. Like I have plenty of energy and stamina. I don't need any more of that. But a lot of us do. We want more energy. We want more stamina. We want to be able to do more of the things that we love and we enjoy. This is my favorite. I love when somebody tells me it's not my fault. It's not your fault. Our food system is rigged. You guys, you can drive through and easily pull out with a bag that's 15 to 2,000 to 4,000 calories and not even think about it. Our society has designed food to be quick, to be sugar filled, and to be something that you can access quickly and not necessarily be healthy. I've learned over the last few years that I can access quick, healthy food, but it wasn't something that I knew until I took a deeper look. And so it's not your fault. I tell my clients, we give our babies M&Ms for going potty. Like we have been designed and our bodies have been regulated that when we celebrate something, we get rewarded. And that reward is mostly food. Specifically, it's mostly sugar, right? When we celebrate things, it's just how we have learned to operate. But we must change our relationship with food in order to change that. So, is food sustaining you or satisfying you? Is it fixing you or is it fueling you? Are you losing a battle every day at the end of the day, or do you feel like you're winning? We have to change this relationship that we have. You know, I really didn't know that that was my relationship with food until I really started taking a deeper look. Am I eating because I'm bored? Dr. A talks about this thing that says stop, challenge, and choose. And so we would have to stop, challenge our thoughts. Am I eating because I'm bored? Am I eating because I'm emotional? Am I eating because I'm really hungry? Because I haven't fed myself all day? What is it? We have to make these switches between fixing and fueling, losing and winning, satisfying and sustaining. Be honest. Are you stressed? Do you feel like you're overweight? Are you anxious? Are you afraid? Depressed? Trouble sleeping? Fatigue? Negative thinking? I think a lot of times what we do is we try to attack each one of these things individually. We say, yes, I feel these things, but I'm going to look at my trouble sleeping. And we go after that. Or I'm going to tackle my fatigue and I'm going to take all these supplements. We think of these things and we try to pinpoint one of them to tackle. I'm a big quote person, and so here's one that I love. A rising tide moves all the ships. What if I told you from my experience and the experience of hundreds of clients, tackling what you fuel your body with and how you feel is the rising tide for all of these. Your sleeping can get better. Your fatigue, you can have more energy. You're anxious and afraid a lot of times, you know, that might be something you need to go to counseling. There might be other things that we need to do to help with those, but also what you're fueling your body and the hormones that your body is creating because of what you're eating impacts those things. So let's just take a minute and we're just going to say, okay, we're going to be honest. We're in this boat. So what's the answer? Wouldn't you like to know? I love the answers. Is it yo-yo dieting? That's really hard, guys. I know so many people. I tried this and I tried this and I did this and I was successful for a month or I was successful for a day. What about fad diets? Oh, is that what everyone's doing now? I'm allowed to have this because it's good on this diet or this because it's good on this diet. Or what about exercising? Guys, when I talk to clients who have a really solid exercise regimen, first, I congratulate them. Like, that's a lot of commitment. You go. But it's also super frustrating when they're working so hard, but they're not seeing the other goals that they want hit. And that's because it's so much diet and also some exercise. And so we can really tackle how we feel while we're tackling our diet. So 85% of people who go on any kind of diet without behavioral support will gain the weight back within 2 years. Here's the thing, guys. Anybody can starve themselves. Anybody can try something to get the weight off. What we're looking for is we're looking to give you tools to make you sustainable. We want you to have a sustainable experience, and we want you to be successful for the long run. When I do health assessments with clients at the very end, my very favorite thing to say to people is, you know what? I know you can reach this goal that we just talked about. I know you can do it, and I want to walk with you and support you. And you know what? I don't want you to call me every January and tell me you have to lose this weight again. I want you to text me every January 1st that you have a new health goal because you've sustained this one for another year. So, diets that put your nutritional balance out of whack nearly always fail and can actually make it harder to lose weight in the future. This is when we talk about that failure pattern. When you start to do something that is so out of whack, meaning it's so extreme that it's not sustainable. This is something that makes it super hard, right? We were actually just listening to a financial advisor, and they were saying it's so important to save. It's so important to have all your finances in order. But he was also saying that as humans, you know, if we're deprived too long of something, and he was talking about finances, so he was saying, if you save so much that you never enjoy life and you never take a reasonable vacation or you never make a reasonable purchase, but you just reserve, likely you're going to go out and buy a $40,000 vehicle that you really should. And he was just saying how we need to figure out this way to have a balance. How can you have really good health, and how can you be working towards goals, but not so much that you're like, I can never XYZ, and then you go on a binge or you have too much of something. And so we want to find this balance. So what's the answer? The answer is lifelong transformation. We're not looking for something that's going to fix you in 30 days. We're not looking for something that's going to make you have to do something crazy for 45 days. We're looking for a lifelong transformation. I actually get really excited about the fact that I've lost 50 pounds, but what I get more excited about is when I add a month, now I'm adding years to the amount of time that I've maintained it. And that's really the exciting part. So we've got to move from a health-care to self-care. And so if you had the choice to thrive in your health and life, would you take it? And when we say health-care to self-care, we're saying we're making a difference between what is the difference here when we say, okay, our health care would be we get sick and we go to the doctor. Self-care is how can I take responsibility for my health in a way that is going to enable me to maybe not need as much health care. How can I care for myself, care for my body in a way that allows me to not need to get sick as much, to be able to be in control of how I know my body is feeling? So for me, for example, I'm to the point now where I know when my body is off because I can really tell what I have eaten or not eaten that's made me feel that way. And so that's an indicator that I didn't have before. Where I normally would have been like, oh, I probably need to go see the doctor because I don't know what's up. Now I really know what my body is saying to me, and I really know when something is wrong. So here we are, your 6 steps. Your 6 steps to a life of health and lowering your stress. These are what we call our macro habits of health. So as you can see, there are 6 of them. And some of them are the things that we talked about in the stress zone. So I'm really excited to kind of share a little bit with you about how these work. So the first one is your mind. Guys, right now, if you're not watching this live, we are in week 3 of the quarantine of 2020, and our minds and our mental health is so important right now. Sleep, they go hand in hand, right? I don't know about you, but when I have infants and babies that are not sleeping, my mind and my sleep, they go right together because my lack of sleep really can affect my mind in so many ways. And so you've got your mind, you've got sleep, you've got your surroundings, That's kind of like what you surround yourself with, not just physically, maybe like making sure your space is clean, making sure you've got something that smells good, but also your physical surroundings as people. You know, what people are you surrounding yourself with? What environments are you putting yourself in? Your food and hydration, of course, we've been talking about that. How you fuel your body, fueling your body in the correct way, and drinking your water. Weight management, so making sure that your body is at an ideal weight and an optimal weight so that you can, in these other areas, perform your best. And then our habit of motion. Guys, this doesn't mean you need to be an Ironman specialist, especially right now, right? Where we can go and what we can do is pretty limited, but we can go for walks, and we can, you know, if you have 2 steps on your front step or in your house, you can go up and down those steps and do a little workout. You can do some motion to keep yourself healthy. And so, habits of healthy weight management. Where food becomes fuel and your metabolism is working at its most efficient pace. So when we learn, it's really, really important, guys. When we learn how we can do this, we really can move to a place where food becomes the answer to how we feel, not just food becoming the answer to our feelings. I want you to hear that. So food not becoming, not food helping us feel the way we want to feel, not consuming food because of how we feel. So an example of that is feeling stressed, going into the kitchen, opening the fridge, and grabbing the raw cookie dough. That is you making a food decision based off of how you feel, versus waking up in the morning and saying, I really want to feel good today. I'm going to pick a really good protein. I'm going to pick a piece of fruit, something that's going to make me feel really good first thing in the morning. And I'm going to drink my water because today I want to feel good. And so when you're choosing your food so that you feel good versus choosing your food because of how you feel, it's a game changer, guys. It's a really big game changer. Okay, so next thing is habits of healthy eating and hydration. Okay, so if we are hydrating our body, guys, if you are in the chat, how much water do you think that you should be drinking every day? How much water do you think you should be drinking every day? Now, most people are going to say 8 glasses of water because that's what we've been taught, right? So 64 ounces. And that's a really great minimum to start at. It's a really great goal point. If you're nowhere near that, please shoot for that. That's definitely where we want you to be trying to shoot for. I personally drink a gallon of water every day. I try. I'm not perfect. So, you know, most days I am trying to drink a gallon of water a day, which is a little bit over half of my body weight. And so you want to be trying to shoot for maybe half your body weight in ounces of water. And what I do is I kind of take whatever number I want. So for me, it's 120 ounces, and I divide it by 4. I actually have a 32-ounce water bottle, and I know I need to drink 4 of those during the day to get in my hydration. And so for me, at the beginning, yes, you're going potty a lot, but your body gets used to it. And so then you are feeling more hydrated. Your skin feels better. Your organs are happier. Water is really obviously made up a lot of what's in our body. And so the more water we can get into our body, the better. So that is a really important key of one of our healthy habits. Healthy habits of motion. No, this doesn't say healthy, does it? Happy, does it? Habits of healthy motion. This is a non-strenuous motion until you reach your optimal weight. Yoga, stretching, walking, all of those things. We want to make sure that you are moving your body. This doesn't mean you have to do a 45-minute workout. This doesn't mean you have to sweat, but moving your body, especially guys, those of you that are listening live, especially during this time of quarantine, it's really important. Even if you just have to walk in your apartment, we just want you to move your body. The more that you can move your body, the better. There are all kinds of people creatively finding ways to do workouts in their house. And so take advantage of that, especially right now. Habits of sleep. Guys, this is a favorite in our house. I'm not sure about you, but my husband loves to sleep. And he loves for that sleep to be good sleep. And so we have all kinds of routines around our kids' sleep and around our sleep and our household. One of those is a sleep mask. That's not necessarily a must, but definitely a good hack. And also a twilight routine. So the twilight routine basically means there's going to be some times where you do things to tell your body that you're ready to sleep. The easiest way I can explain this to most of you that you might understand is you do this with kids. Every night they get a bath, they get lotion, they get a story, they go to bed. Or it might be some variation of that. And so you know that you're doing that for a reason, right? You're doing that because when those things start to happen, your child's body tells them, oh, we're about to go to sleep. Mommy's reading that same story she always reads. Or I'm getting a bath, or I'm putting on my pajamas, or the lights got turned low. So there's a pattern that we take with kids. Maybe you don't, but for most parents, I've heard that they have a schedule. They don't just throw their kid in a room with the lights on and say, go to sleep, right? Even turning off the lights is an indicator that it's time to go to sleep. And so this one's a really important one, especially with what we're experiencing now in our country, is to have a nighttime routine. Not falling asleep in front of the TV, not falling asleep at whatever random time you fall asleep, but really giving yourself a schedule and giving yourself some steps. We personally, my husband plugs his phone outside of the room. So when he enters the bedroom, his body does not have any kind of blue light or cell phones or anything like that. So for him, that's even just a stress relief, that he knows that his bedroom for him is kind of an isolated area where he's not going to have any of those distractions. Habits of a healthy mind. Guys, our minds, they are so important. Mental stability, mental clarity, understanding, patterns, triggers, growth mindsets. These are so important, especially, guys, this webinar was already planned, but it came at such a great time for what we're experiencing. How can you have mental stability and mental clarity in an atmosphere and an environment where a lot of things right now are out of our control, to be quite honest? There's so many things that are out of our control right now. Patterns and triggers is a big one. So knowing what your triggers and your patterns are. So for me, kids waking up before 6:30 is a big trigger. So I wake up at 5 so that I at least have an hour and a half by myself to do my morning routine before even the earliest trigger could happen, right? Now, if they go to 7, great. If they go to 7:30, I've conquered the world by the time they wake up. It's just what happens for me and how I interpret having a healthy mind is really starting my day the right way. So there could be patterns or triggers that you have. It could be that you overslept, and how do you work through that? Having a growth mindset. This time for some of us is an opportunity to learn something new. I plan on practicing the piano. I'm pretty old to learn the piano, but I'm going to try and I'm going to practice. And so for me, that's a growth mindset. Instead of just settling into this is how things are going to be because we're stuck at home, I'm going to try to figure out a way for myself to still have a growth mindset, still try to have some more mental clarity and mental stability. There's been research that shows even taking 30 seconds to a minute to just be still, hear your own thoughts, and take some breaths. This is what I call my morning coffee. Just to be still and to have time with your own thoughts, which all of us are kind of having a lot of time with our own thoughts right now. But you want to make sure that you are focusing on a healthy mind. Habits of healthy surroundings. Guys, your support systems. So your healthy surroundings, that could be your actual physical surroundings. So for example, our family at night during this time at home, we're doing this thing called a 10-minute blitz. So every night we're doing a 10-minute blitz where everybody has to clean the house for 10 minutes. And so part of that is so things don't get completely out of control. But then part of that is so that when Jason and I, after we put the kids to bed and we have our adult time, we don't have toys all over the floor and our surroundings are in peace. And then when we wake up in the morning to have our morning routine, the house is in peace. And so we're trying to control what we can as far as our surroundings. The other thing that we control as far as our surroundings is the people we surround ourselves with. Do you surround yourself with people who are encouraging, who are uplifting, who are really invested in you and who you are and who you're becoming? And if you are, then you've got some pretty healthy surroundings. But the reverse could also be true. You could be surrounding yourself intentionally or unintentionally with people who are not very supportive, people who are not very encouraging, people who their choices worry you or concern you. And so that is part of controlling your surroundings. Now, we've gone over 6 of these and they seem pretty decent, right? Like they seem pretty easy, but it could be hard to tackle all of them at one time. So where do you think you fall on this scale? Okay, perfectly healthy all the way to, on my screen, it's the left, and I've got some work to do all the way on the right. Where do you think you fall on this health scale? And I'm just going to read off those habits of health again to you. And so as I'm reading through them, maybe kind of put yourself on this marker as I go through each one. So where do you think you feel, you can kind of jot it down or in your mind, your habit of healthy weight management. Where do you feel like you fall on that? What about habits of healthy eating and hydration? What about habits of healthy motion? Habits of healthy sleep? Habits of a healthy mind? Habits of a healthy surroundings? And I know that these can change, right? Sometimes you feel like you're doing really great, sometimes you don't. I know what you may be thinking. Can I really adapt all of these at one time? This is kind of a lot. Am I too old or am I too young to change these habits? I'm doing good. I can do this on my own. Or maybe you're thinking, can you help me with some of these? So the answers to all of those can be different. Can you really adopt all these habits? Yes. We also do something called habit stacking. So we start with one, and we go back to that quote with the rising tide. We start with healthy weight management, and then we stack these habits on top of each other until you have all of them. I'm too old or I'm too young. This one's definitely not true. You're never too old, you're never too young to make a change or to feel good or to feel better. I'm good, I can do this on my own. That's great. We thought that too. We thought that we could do it on our own. We did our health assessment with our coach over 2 years ago, and he said something really impactful. He said, you know, if you could have done it on your own, it's possible that you would have already done it. And so that might be true for you too. Maybe you can do this on your own, but you probably would have already if you did. And can you help me? You know, that's the really great part about being a health coach. I love to help people, and I love these habits. They've really changed my life. They've changed my family's life, and they really are these ground rocks in how we decide to shape our family and shape how we do things. And so I would love to help you. Oh, look, there's that guy. He wasn't in the earlier one. So this is our before and after. It's quite transformational, as you can see. It's 100% possible to live a healthier life, to lower your stress so that you can thrive and face anything that could come your way. It's totally possible, guys. And I want to help you. If you're ready, I'm ready. You don't have to do it alone. And I've helped over 500 incredible people transform their lives. These guys here on the left are actual friends of ours and friends and family that have really transformed their life and transformed who they are becoming in the future. They might have thought their life had one trajectory, and they're finding that it has a new trajectory. So I want to give you a gift. Are you guys like gifts? I love gifts. So I want to give you a gift. So I'm really excited that you joined us today for our first live webinar, and we would love your feedback. So we have a free Habits of Health assessment and a customized health plan that we can offer each one of you. And so we want to give that to you today. You can set up our call for this week or whenever you're available. Currently, most of us are available. So whenever you need this, we want to set this up for you. A free Habits of Health assessment. Find out where you really are on that scale, right? And so don't wait. We want you to text HEALTH to this number, 202-709-5700. 5703. Again, that's 202-709-5703. And I also feel like I'm on QVC right now. I definitely want to do that again. But it offer expires tonight at midnight. So make sure that you text so that we can get this call set up for you. Guys, we are so excited that you joined us for our first live webinar. If you loved getting information like this and you think we should do it again, we definitely want to hear from you. We want to hear some feedback. And guys, if there's a specific habit of health that you think you really need help with, please reach out, text that number. We really want to be able to share the information that we've been given over the last few years with you. We want to make sure that we are sharing this great gift, and we want to be sharing the things that we've sometimes learned the hard way and sometimes been able to learn the easy way. And so we want to share that with you. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we will talk to you soon.